This box contains dozens of patents, all of them developed to grant people new life. People who would otherwise lose their race against time and die. People waiting for the timely exchange of a damaged organ for a healthy one.
It's been a long journey. It wasn't easy. It was full of difficulties and challenges. However, we survived because of one thing and one thing only. We are utterly convinced that the organ care system is going to transform organ transplantation and provide more and better organs for very sick patients in need for these organ transplants.
Walid Hassanein, born in 1968 near Cairo, Egypt. As a boy, he dreamed of becoming a pilot. But his family wanted him to study medicine. So he did. In London, Cairo, and Washington, D.C. His goal was to become a heart surgeon, but then something happened that changed everything.
The defining moment really came to me during my first heart transplant procedure, when I recognized that the donor heart will be placed in this picnic cooler, the same organ that I'm being trained for nearly a decade to know how to protect. At that moment, I recognized there has to be a better way and more physiologic ways to preserve organs outside of the human body.
Walid Hassanein broke off his studies, leaving behind everything that he'd achieved. He wanted to revolutionize transplant medicine. And it was urgently necessary. In the US alone, there are constantly around 120,000 people on the waiting list for a donor organ. 22 Americans die every day while hoping to get one. There are simply not enough donor organs. The standard practice is to remove the organs and place them in cold storage. Function and metabolism stop. The result? The organs start to decompose. Putting them into cold storage slows down this decomposition, but doesn't stop it. And that is precisely the problem.
Using cold storage, you are in a race for time. So you have to move the organ from the donor to the recipient within 3 to 6 hours. More importantly, there's no way of assessing the organ viability for transplantation, which further limits the utilization of available organs. We only use 2 to 3 out of every 10 donated available human organs today with the cold ischemic storage.
So, Walid Hassanein's idea is to keep the donor organs alive by using high tech. He wants the heart to continue beating, the lung to continue breathing, and the kidneys to continue producing urine outside the body. In his company, Transmedics, this vision has become a reality, and it's been given a name: the Organ Care System. At the heart of it is an artificial blood circulation system, complex but compact enough to fit into a transportable box. Controlled by software, the blood is enriched with oxygen. Pumps and bellows enable the lungs to keep on breathing. The system also supplies nutrients and hormones. Every technical detail, every biochemical requirement asks for a solution, and each one is patented. Inside a torso of plastic, steel, and electronics, the organs in the organ care system continue to function, just as if they were still inside their donors' bodies.
We're no longer fighting with the clock because the organ is living outside of the human body. So theoretically speaking, this organ can stay alive in our system for a day or two, maybe even longer. Basically, we can make a transplant procedure from an emergency procedure into a scheduled procedure. It gives the clinicians more time to evaluate and assess the organ suitability for transplant, all of which will result in more organs to become available to help these sick patients receive the gift of life in a new transplant.
Over the past 15 years, thanks to the patents, TransMedics has managed to raise almost $300 million. Clinical studies for heart, lung and liver transplants have been completed. Thanks to the Organ Care System, more than 800 people in America, Canada, Europe, Africa and Australia have already been given a new life.
We really believe that we're just getting started. We believe that the future is bright. We just think that this is the end of the beginning.